tell us what's going on with Malema, because to me it looks like he's guilty. I don't think he's the only guilty one, DA and these other guys. But let's talk about the Malema issue and how it undermines and how we look at movements that could be very clever, but they undermine the growth of our people.
Yeah. So there's a few things actually that are beginning to sort of prop up, but I think it's things that have been sort of in the pipelines,
Yeah, they were waiting.
even
They were waiting for this moment to bring it
yeah,
out. Yeah.
even before the GNU, and
Yeah.
well, not necessarily that they were waiting. They just happened to happen coincidentally
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
this time,
Yeah.
because court dates and all those things.
So it
Um,
took time because South Africa has a very good due process.
yeah. So all these judicial processes that are happening
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
sort of coming to fruition now in a strange sort of way. There's the one with an MK party member who is Judge Lope,
Yeah.
who was actually impeached as a judge. He's the second only judge to be impeached in the new democratic era.
Oh my
And now
goodness.
he's a member of the MK party, and he's being sort of assigned to the Judicial Oversight Committee from Parliament, and now the DA and AfriForum are asking questions about how someone who's been impeached as a judge can be put in this position.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are kind of like the little debates that are happening within Parliament between parties, because
Yeah.
they're sort of like stone throwing,
Yeah. But here's my question,
scandal.
Lorato. How come we've never heard of corruption within the DA? How come we've never heard of it? You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You know what
yeah,
I mean? Yeah.
yeah. But we understand what what it is that they are connected to, right?
Yeah.
We understand that they are connected to capital.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are connected to the one scandal that I know financially happened has to do with like what
And
they
it was
call the
actually a black
Stellenbosch.
member of the DA, a black member. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
Stellenbosch mafia and all those kinds of
Yeah.
things.
And they have guys
Um,
coming from
this-
Bulgaria and criminals selling drugs in Western Cape. I've seen so many stories about it. The Western Cape is a home for Eastern European drug dealers and criminals. Yeah.
yeah. And there is
Also, you
someone.
guys, you don't know my name, so you can't find me. Oh.
Yeah, and someone said, I think online somewhere, that the DA also has the Steinhoff scandal hanging over their head. I'm
Yeah.
not sure how connected they are to
Yeah.
the Steinhoff scandal, which was sort of like a financials kind of
Yeah,
like
but very
fraud.
quickly, Lorato. So what it means that even the white politicians, ANC, EFF, MK, all of them is the master at the top. It's not about race. They control all of them because they set them all up. Continue. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and there is actually someone who's been, I think, a deputy spokesperson from the DA
Yeah,
who.
he's a black guy or colored guy, colored or black. I'm not
No,
sure.
he's a white guy who got
Oh, white. Okay.
reinstated.
I, I'm sorry. I'm
Um,
biased. People can say I'm biased because I always want to give it to. I always want to say that it's the whites
yeah,
setting up the blacks.
who's who's
Yeah.
been reinstated to
Yeah.
deputy spokesperson of parliament, in spite of him using a racial slur in the past. Of course,
Yeah.
he's deservedly apologized for that and whatnot, but yeah, it's questionable
Yeah.
how the DA deals with racism, if it forgives such a thing so easily and
Yeah.
still gives that person a
Well, I see
position
your
in
point. They
parliament.
forgave their guy, but
Yeah,
When Malema sings "Kill the Boer," they want to put him in jail. I'm not going to say it's a good or bad song, but we know it's a metaphor. It's not meant to be taken literally. But continue.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then what else is there? And then Jacob Zuma is in a disciplinary hearing with the ANC over him
Yeah.
starting a new party while he was still a member of the ANC. basically putting the party into disrepute and all those things. So these are all kind of like the political games that are being played now.
Yeah.
And of course now the case of VBS,
The bank.
the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you were mentioning that Malema and Shivambos seem to
Yeah.
be indicted in or implicated in,
Yes.
is now like uh, getting into is being processed and it's
Yeah.
being heard in court.
Can I say
And
something
now
very
there's
quickly? So
yeah
that
and
bank, it, any money that comes, the South African currency, it comes from the central bank, which is controlled by the IMF. That was a setup. But also, these guys are terrible. They use donations and things from the people who they say were bringing land for you, and they were using it for their private restaurants and everything. I'm usually a Malema fan, but this is very disappointing. Continue. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, but I think VBS, if we put it in context, it was really people's investment
yeah,
into the bank.
yeah. Because they were
People
giving
put in,
donations, yeah, and stuff, yeah, and also
yeah,
investments, yeah.
outside of donations,
Their life earnings, yeah.
people
Sorry,
were putting in
thank you.
their life savings and their pensions into there. And it was meant to be a communal bank. And this is that like the great irony, right? It was meant to be a communal bank that would have boosted agriculture in Venda, in the
Yeah.
region that we call Venda, that used to be
Yeah.
a
And very
homeland
quickly, before you
state.
continue, I'm sorry to cut in front of you. Even the vendor chief was stealing from it too. Continue. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no,
That's what
no.
I heard. I
A
might be
lot of
wrong. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people who are highly connected
Yeah.
benefited from this, but they basically were siphoning money from the bank that was
Yeah.
supposed to have been benefiting communal causes like agriculture
Yeah.
and things like those, like public housing, and all those schools. This is what that money could have done.
Yeah. And
Um,
it looks like because I know Malema is petty. That's also kind of related to the vendor. So it also looks like it's double where it's a tribalistic movement, but he's even stealing from his own people. Very
yeah,
unacceptable. Continue. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, for sure. So you can see that there's a difference between the rhetoric that the EFF spews
Yes. And I would even say that the
and
DA
the
are better because they don't rob their own people like that. They don't rob white people like that. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So yeah, man. So this thing has sort of put Malema's or the EFF's credibility sort of on the line. Of course, because they're politicians, they'll sort of weather the storm
yeah. The
and
weather. Yeah.
yeah, and move on with it.
But
Oh,
I want to send a special message to people who are listening to the show. EFF has a good theoretical background, and the reason they exist is so that we, who are people, can take parts of their theory about reappropriating resources due to land. I always say South Africa's land belongs to everybody, the whites, the blacks, and everybody, and it needs to be distributed for the welfare of the people. So we shouldn't see that the fall of the EFF is totally a bad thing because at least it brought attention to socialism even if it's even if that's not what their motive was. Continue. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then the other thing is, I think Cyril will have legal problems of his own.
Ah,
Um,
that every guy is messed up, Paul.
yeah,
Everybody is fucked up except
yeah,
for
yeah. So
Steenhoost. Except for Steenhoost. Go ahead. Continue.
yeah. So because of all these arguments that are happening within the House of Parliament, the GNU is proving to be a very dramatic space to be in.
Sorry, very quickly. What does GNU stand for? Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Government of National Unity.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Government
yeah,
of that
yeah,
national disunity. Continue. Yeah.
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 So
And
and yeah, you can see how people like Malema are usurping and using
yeah.
rhetoric,
Yeah. Yeah.
and actually in certain instances genuine movements on the ground that were sort of put forward by people who are working hard
Yeah.
conscientize, you
To me,
know,
that's unforgivable.
yeah,
Taking money from poor people and old people,
yeah,
Yeah.
to conscientize students and everything on this idea of Black consciousness. I mean, it's almost like the same thing that Lisufi did with wearing this Chris Hani T-shirt. I
Yeah,
remember
we talked about
during the campaign,
yeah.
I saw an ANC guy wearing a Steve Biko T-shirt. You know, so they sort of
And these guys
like
died.
to,
They died for the movement. They weren't corrupt. They died
yeah, yeah.
because of their lack of
So
corruption. They died. Yeah.
they like to wear the T-shirts and use the slogans, but
Yeah.
they don't walk the talk. So
Yeah. So thank
yeah,
you.
I think we have 2 minutes
Afalabi, how
now.
much time do we have left? Yeah.
We have less than 2 minutes.
Okay, so yeah, thank you very much, Larato. Where we're going to study on next is some of the humors. Like I know there's a party called PAC. We're going to study on some of the smaller South African parties, which I think we need to focus. Would you agree very quickly? Then we'll go to Afalabi. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, we can check them out, man.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go, Falabi. Take us out on your last thoughts. This has been a very good show. I want to thank both of you guys, and also we'll be back on Sunday for Formula One. But continue, Falabi. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, Floyd Shivambu, and Julius Malema are prominent in economic freedom fighters. And if one way or the other they are fingered in this 2 billion rand scandal, it will undermine their legacy. And it's on this note that we round up a very interesting show. It's been wonderful
Yeah.
discussing with you guys again,
Also,
Mustafa,
Falabi, I want to add one thing.
Lerato as
Even
well.
though it undermines their legacy, there are still movements that they started, which we will, all of us, when I say we, I don't mean you and me and us. I mean Black people around the world. We're going to continue. We're going to win. Continue. Sorry, Falabi. Yeah.
Sure, sure. And it's on that note that we round up our show for today. So like, share, and subscribe. Global Politics.
Thank you, guys. I'll text you guys in a few minutes. Thank you. Okay.